Hey, Joel 624 here, bringing you a review. Knights of the Old Republic review. Well, not really review, but a mashup. We'll call that, or a thoughts on, like I normally call it. It's a kind of a retrospect kind of thing, looking back in hindsight of what has happened. Because I haven't blogged or vlogged about anything or done any sort of thoughts on a review on the Old Republic, what the outcome was, what I still believe needs to be done. Because, you know, when Knights had come out, I was really a big part of the community for it a lot. I know a lot of people have watched my reviews for it. A lot of people have given me a lot of positive feedback on my Knights 1 review, my Ailments reviews of the games. 2, I guess it came out so sporadically and nobody ever really got a chance to really think about it. But with the Old Republic now out, and almost, I think it's been basically a year now that this game has been out, more or less. Maybe even getting close to 2 years. Um, what do I think? Did it fail? No, it didn't fail. It did a great job for what it was worth, but it wasn't a KOTOR game. Let's get that out of the way right away. This is not a Knights of the Old Republic video game. It was, on the offset, made to be a separate game. I think that everybody at BioWare, some of the writers like Drew Casperdian, was going out to make this game separate, which is understandable because it's an MMORPG. It has its positives in that regard, but it's not a KOTOR game. You're not playing as the Dark Lord Revan or the Exile. It's past. It's like this game is like it's like 100, 200 years in the future, past the events of KOTOR 2, which I'm glad they did that, because if they would have tried to make this game, I originally thought they were going in and trying to make this game during the time period of the Star Wars trilogy events. My fault. Sorry for that. A little slow today. And I'm glad they didn't do that. But ultimately, this game just isn't a KOTOR game. It's its own separate entity. I still wish for KOTOR 3. I'm always going to want that. I'm always going to wish that if the game engine produced by now the Xbox 720 could easily have the demands and have the means. There's enough demands and there's enough means to put a KOTOR 3 on that system and be the final. I think a lot of people were really, they were interested in the Old Republic, but eventually it just gets old. I mean, like, I played, and I didn't renew my membership. I think I played for close to a year, and I was like, I beat the main story. I don't want to keep playing this. This is just, it's not me. I was never an MMO gamer, so it was never really me to go into this with a full head of steam and be like, I'm going to play this for the rest of my life. Because the truth is that I was never going to do that in the first place, because I've always wanted KOTOR 3. I've always wanted it. And unfortunately, where we're at now, I don't know if it's ever going to come out. I played every game. I played a lot of mods. And I just feel like if BioWare had just a solid 2 to 3 years of effort, they could make KOTOR 3 a reality. Or even give it back to Obsidian. Because I think Obsidian wants another go, because as we all know, as I've said it a million times in the past, Knights 2 was a rushed game. It was rushed, very, very, very extremely rushed. And there's so many glitches in that game, and I've gone over it a million times, and give it to somebody else if BioWare doesn't want to do it. I mean, it's going to suffer immensely if that's the case, because BioWare put so much time and effort into one. And that's why I won Game of the Year. Maybe, hell, yeah, if you're going to give it back to Obsidian, give them 2 to 3 years, and let's see what they can do with it. Because ultimately, I feel like most of the fans who are going to watch this video can agree with me, they want Knights 3. They want to close out the series, and they want, the Revan Chronicles to be put to rest, or the Exile to make a comeback, or something. Anything. Any tie-in that they could do could work. I was talking to my friend last night, actually, and maybe this is it. Maybe Knights 3 is a prequel to to Knights 1. Maybe Knights 3 is a prequel to Knights 1. Or, it's not called Knights 3, but it's a prequel to Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, that would be interesting. I don't see how far it could go. He wanted to do it during the early hyperspace wars, but it would probably suffer immensely because it's just the continuity of it would be tough to siphon in and out. So, what else? If they were to make KOTOR 3, let's go into this. If they were to make it, would they get the voice actors back? That was the first thing that comes to my mind is 2003 is no. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 10 years ago. That's a decade. This game, KOTOR, is a decade old this year. I completely forgot about that. Happy birthday, Knights of the Old Republic, 2003. Yeah, I mean, would all the voice actors come back to do it? That's a very Jennifer Hale and a bunch of the Kat Haber, all of them. Would they come back to do it? To be voice actors in this game? It's 10 years old. So they're older. They're all 10 years older. So that's actually something that you need to think about. It. Would they be willing to come back and do? Because to get different voices is stupid. I mean, nobody's going to connect to that if they get different voices. Will the story be good? I think that's the biggest question on everybody's mind. If they were to make KOTOR 3, would the story be good? Would it have that same quality as 1 and 2? Because 2 ultimately is the better game story-wise. Would it have that same factor that pushed that game to a better level than 1 was at? Could they get it even darker than 2? Because 2 is a dark game. 2 is actually a pretty depressing game. If you play that game and you're not depressed by the end of it, you're like, wow, what the fuck? Because it's just dark. It's just dark and shadowy and just not happy. It is a sad game to play. What else? I guess. Would it look good? That's a big question. Ultimately, I was not a fan of Mass Effect. I never really got into it. But if they use that same game engine and just dumb it down a little bit to where the D20 system comes back into play, would that look good? Ultimately, that's a hard question to answer because I don't know if it would look great. I think it would take a lot of time. That's why I'm saying you got to give whatever company is doing this game 3 years, LucasArts. You got to give them 2 to 3 years solid. No year and a half, bing, bang, boom, we'll get it out for the Christmas season. It's got to take 2 to 3 years to make. Otherwise, it's going to be 2 all over again, and it doesn't win anything. Ultimately, if they're going to make another game, I think they're going to want to win a Game of the Year for that because I still find it great that KOTOR won Game of the Year in 2003. I don't think anybody would have ever expected that. Another thing, with the recent movie coming out, maybe that could be the deciding factor. Disney's releasing, Disney technically owns LucasArts. They don't own LucasArts because George Lucas still owns LucasArts. But in the long run, if they want to make a Star Wars video game based off the movie now, it's going to be through Disney. So maybe, because in my mind, Disney doesn't make any real bad shit. If they do, they lose a shitload of money. They have too much at stake when they make shit. So possibly what you're looking at is Disney getting involved. And that's also a thought because Disney released Kingdom Hearts. And Kingdom Hearts is a great game. For anybody that disagrees with me on that, you're dumb. Kingdom Hearts is a great game. So that's a possibility also, that if Disney were to be the figurehead on this and possibly, be guiding LucasArts in the right direction, that could be great too. Because Disney just doesn't like to, if they make bad shit, they lose money. It's not like, you know, it's the money making scheme. If they don't make good shit, if they don't take the time and make good shit, they don't make money. And it blows, man. If they lose out on some shit, they will suffer immensely. Another thing, mods. Has anybody ever considered doing this? And this is a call out to anybody that watches this video and anybody that knows any hackers and modders on the internet. If there are any still left that do mod for the KOTOR 1 or 2 engines. I'm working on a project right now with a friend of mine, and we're writing a video game. And I won't say what it is because I don't want anybody taking this idea, because this idea is fucking great. But will anybody hack for it, possibly? The online community of any game is big, and KOTOR is no exception to that. If the community has any people left, my call out to you is, hey, hack the game. Hack 1 or 2. Hack both. Pool it together and make a smorgasbord game. Come up with a new story. It will be very, very choppy, but in the long run, if LucasArts is not gonna, pitch this a game to any company, or BioWare's not gonna pitch this idea to anybody, Obsidian's not gonna pitch it, then hack the game. Just don't sell it. Do it for the love of making games. I don't know. It's just, if they're not going to make this game a reality, somebody has to, because there's too many people on the internet that were very, just not enthralled when they were like, why are they releasing an MMO? It doesn't make any sense. Because they wanted a third game. The first game was so good, and the second had more build-up. They wanted a third game. It's very, very bad when a company will obliviously let something go like that, because it made so much money. It won Game of the freaking Year in 2003. It's like, what more do you want? So, in retrospect, guys, KOTOR 3 needs to make some sort of ground step, meaning that it needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, I think that a lot of people in any sort of fan community of this game will not be happy. They will ultimately want a third game to come out. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. This has been my my first KOTOR review. Wow, in close to like a year, maybe even a year and a half. I'd have to check the dates, but anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this one. This one will not be my last. I've been thinking of watching a lot of reviewers on YouTube lately doing their things, and yeah, they don't get, partnered and stuff, but, I've been thinking about putting out more video game related stuff, because I am becoming a lot bigger of a gamer than I have been in the previous years. So, anywho, Hey Joel 624 signing out, guys. Everybody enjoy this video. Everybody enjoyed their spring breaks, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.